We've been lucky the last group of years that the manufacturing sector has made a strong comeback. It's different. I tell people all four of my grandparents were textile workers. What manufacturing meant in the 1950s and 60s is not what it means today. So the technical skills of manufacturing are not being fulfilled. There's a lot of reasons for that. There's aging baby boomers that are retiring. There's people outside the workforce that need to be in the workforce. The biggest issue, I think, is we're not being realistic about what people need to learn and why they need to learn it to be positioned for the future. It used to be that a diesel mechanic was some middle-aged guy sitting there with a wrench and dirty hands working on a truck. And today, a diesel technician is someone who has to know computers, who has to still do the wrench. They still have to do all of that, but they have to know more, and they have to work with different people. And so you end up with teams of people doing what needs to be done. So you have to have teamwork, you have to have the digital skills that are there, and that's across all ages. So one of the biggest challenges we have is not just training someone till they turn 22 or 25, but how do we instill in people the understanding and the passion to want to learn and be retrained throughout their life?
Every truck we build is one-off. You order your truck, we build it. So therefore, I can't hire just anybody and give them a plate of metal and 6 screws and say, put this here. That's not what it does. You cut the metal, you finish the metal, you drill the holes, you tap the holes, and you put the part on. So you're in charge of all of it. And if I can't teach you to do that, then I don't have a job for you. So the first thing that you have to have is adaptability, to be able to have an attitude that says, I'm willing to learn.
Employers would tell you that it's real hard to find people with the right soft skills. Some of them are very basic. They want honesty, they want dependability, they want people who are self-motivated.
There's a certain code of conduct that is universal, that in my view is expected in the workplace. Punctuality, for example, as easy as that seems, if work starts at 8, you expect all of your employees to be on the job at 8. Not driving in the parking lot at 8 o'clock. That's important if you have a business.
The broader soft skills that get lumped in are the ideas of communication skills, teamwork skills, problem-solving skills, the ability to adapt. I think that how you work with people is going to be more important. We can automate basic cognitive skills. We can automate basic manual skills. What we can't automate is interaction between people.
With our group, we've got a lot of really sharp guys, and if we're not all working together towards a common goal, we're working against each other. When I'm hiring someone, I will talk with them and ask them things about themselves to try to get them to communicate and tell more about themselves other than just their technical skills. Technical skills are very important, but the communication is just as important, if not more, to work in a group and for cohesion and working towards a common goal.
It's not about learning to be a bricklayer and know what mortar looks like. It is about how do you interact with the customer? How do you interact with the boss? How do you interact with your fellow teammates? And how do you do so in a way that you can solve a problem on the fly? We can build a machine right now that lays bricks, but we can't do things that allow people to interact. And so those soft skills become more important. It starts, though, with your ability to show up at work and be honest and be responsible, be self-motivated. And those are hard to build into educational curriculums, but more and more people are trying to do that. Math skills today have changed a little bit. There's more statistics involved in skills today because of big analytics. Almost every community out there today we can size a community up pretty quickly on analytics. Well, so can businesses size up supply chains and customers and preferences. But generally, math has become more important, and problem solving, critical thinking has become more important.
In this job, one of the things you have to do is to be able to take a blueprint. You have to be able to read that blueprint you may be given certain dimensions. You may not be given the dimension for every line or every angle on there, but you have to be able to interpret that, because these parts have to interact with other parts on machines. You're not making something that just exists out in space all unto itself. More than likely, when you go out into industry, you're making one part that is going to interact with another part that is going to interact with hundreds of other parts in a machine, and so the tolerances are very important.
As we go forward, it's that applied mathematics, applied problem solving, and a soaking of reading as something people want to do throughout their life that's become more important.
Funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.